My name is waynecoe. I'm a Martin Luther King assassination conspiracy expert. Not only have I read the 2,700-page 1999 Martin Luther King assassination conspiracy trial, but I've also read William Pepper's 3 books and seen the HBO television trial, The Trial of James Earl Ray. So I'm going to take us to the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel, and we're going to join Dr. King, who is being summoned out onto the balcony, out in front of what is a state firing squad. 4 sniper teams. That is a spotter and a shooter that are waiting for him to be drawn onto the balcony by an infiltrator named Reverend Kyles. Reverend Kyles will 25 years later make a huge Freudian slip and say, I moved out of the way so he wouldn't hit me, when explaining what he was doing on the balcony. So he's knocking on the door. Reverend King, you're going to be late for dinner. Because he's supposed to be giving him dinner. And Reverend King finishes up his aftershave, his aqua velva, and he goes to the door and he steps out onto the balcony before a sniper across the street behind a bushy set of brush and trees, about 8 feet tall, very, very dense, behind Jim's Grill, where the mafia / police / CIA snipers and connected to the Klan are waiting. Just behind them is the Talo paper tower, large paper tower with a rim around it, where one of the military intelligence division snipers are waiting for Dr. King. And Dr. King is oblivious to this. He's hanging over the balcony. He's talking to Solomon Jones down below, who's suggesting it's still rather cool. Probably you should bring your top coat. And after some joking, King says, yes, okay, I'll go back in. Waiting still, over to Dr. King's left is the Illinois Railroad building. On the top of that is a view I got up and saw. Only a few hundred yards away. A beautiful view of the balcony and Dr. King. There is another military intelligence division sniper team, a 20th SFG team out of Fort Selby in Columbus, Mississippi. And they drove up that morning, waking at 4:30. Their orders are available online, connected to the Martin Luther King assassination conspiracy trial. The other snipers are in a 3rd-story window. It isn't identified where this is, but the 3rd-story window also has a spotter and a shooter. So that makes 4 teams. The mafia team for deniability and 3 military intelligence teams. Now, should King escape from the balcony, they shoot, they miss, he gets down. Should he escape from the balcony, his chauffeur, Solomon Jones, has been directed to take him south. And while he goes south, there's 3 more Klan snipers with special rifles that have been delivered. And these are semi-automatic rifles, not bolt-action rifles like the drop-down gun purchased by, but paid for by the state through Raoul, James Earl Ray's handler. So Dr. King is leaning over the balcony, and he turns, and they fire, and the bullet goes, I don't know if I should do this, the bullet goes through his jaw. The bullet goes through his jaw, through his shoulder, into his back, lodging below the left shoulder blade. And this bullet will be removed by one of the detectives. And he said that the bullet was in perfect condition. The copper was entirely on the jacket. It had perfect landing grooves, just a little bit flattened on the tip. Look at the Trial of James Earl Ray, HBO on YouTube. This bullet showed up 10 years later at the House Select Assassination Committee in 3 fragments, weighing approximately 1/3 of the weight of the original bullet. And this bullet forensically does not match the missing cartridge from the case of bullets that James Earl Ray had left behind, it wasn't Ray, that they had planted, that the drop-down gun and munitions didn't match the assassination bullet. Nor did James Earl Ray's rifle, had it ever been sighted, which meant it was 7 inches off the mark when they tested it. So he'd screwed on, or Raoul had screwed on the scope, but it had never been sighted. This rifle was useless. A bolt action instead of a semi-automatic where you just fire and fire, useless. So forensically, there was nothing tying James Earl Ray to the assassination except this phony drop-down gun. So it was essential that they frame Ray, that they get him to confess, because then they can deny him a trial until he's dead, which is what they did. They? Who is they? They is the state. According to the 1999 Martin Luther King assassination conspiracy trial, a jury of 12 jurors, after listening to a month of testimony, around 79, 80 witnesses who told what they saw, and no one had asked them for 30 years because there was no investigation of the King assassination, none. So, 30 years later, King versus Jowers, 1999, all these witnesses keep coming up and saying, no one ever spoke to me. No one ever asked me what I saw. First-hand witnesses who heard a cabbie say he saw the killer climb down over the wall on the opposite side of the street from the Lorraine, walk up and get in a police car and be driven swiftly away. Mrs. Catlin, who saw a guy come running out of the back of the building, shoot across the street, hop into a Chevy, and roar off with squealing tires, and the police paid no attention to him. The invaders, who were kicked out of their room unceremoniously. Who are they? They're the Black Organizing Project. Young, college-educated, black students who are trying to help the poor, and Dr. King is working with them as his personal security, and they were sent away 15 minutes before this firing squad of state assassins lay their bores down on Dr. King on that balcony. One of the most disturbing aspects of the 1999 Martin Luther King assassination conspiracy trial is I talked to history professor after history professor, and they've never heard of it. This trial is available through the King Center. You can download it. It's free, and you can read it. It is the best true crime thriller I've ever read, bar none. It is a masterpiece. William Pepper, the King attorney, William Pepper, who became James Earl Ray's attorney, William Pepper, who was Dr. King's campaign planner when he ostensibly was going to run for president. William Pepper, this man whose life became dedicated to the truth, to what Coretta Scott King called a revelation of truth. That's what she called this 1999 trial. No historians teach it. No one's ever heard of it. What is wrong with this picture? I downloaded it. I read it. It's a page turner. It's truly an astonishing document. They have media experts who tell how the CIA infiltrated most major media, and how, for instance, Life magazine, which we stupid citizens, and I point to myself, stupid citizens like me trusted as having a kind of veracity. Well, in February of 1965, they printed a Vietnamese stamp under a magnifying glass, and that stamp was fabricated by an illustrator like I was most of my life to look like a Vietnamese stamp. No such stamp exists. It's complete propaganda to try to sell the public that the North Vietnamese are advertising the killing of red-blooded American illegal occupiers, which is what we were. Thank you.